Is this a surprise?
Audience.
Well, good morning, all.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Hey,
Well, it's springtime and there's gophers and the flies coming to the house and all this. And I'm finding for some maybe a buffalo or an animal. So. Yeah. Where.
Yeah, it's gonna.
And stars are not cloudy. Home on my grave. And the stars are not cloudy.
Thank you very much, Rob. And thank you. Okay, well, it looks like Michael McLaughlin had the thought for today, but I don't see him here. Do we have anybody with a good thought? Any thoughts?
Inspiration, I was gonna bring it up yesterday, and I wasn't able to do it. So, it's Environment Month for Rotary International. So I had the inspiration and understanding of the natural world and what's in it is a source of not only a great curiosity, but great fulfillment. The truth is, the natural world is changing, and we are totally dependent on that world. It provides our food, water, and air. It is the most precious thing we have, and we need to defend it. Sir David Attenborough.
Wonderful, Rob. Thank you so much. Our greeter was President-elect Kathy. And we have more things for her. And Terry Kelly and Bob Kaiser, they're doing our audio. And raffle and newsletter, we have Terry Kelly going to do the raffle today, and Nick Randall doing the newsletter. Thank you so much. Yay, the newsletter. Yay. Speaking of the newsletter, we have a secret word we're supposed to be doing. And I have to choose somebody that probably has not read the. Everybody's pointing at Brian Bauer. Is there a good reason for this?
Well, foundation was last week. I was like,
Right? Yeah. What's this week?
no, I was just saying we didn't guess.
We'll get there. I just want to know what the secret word is.
Foundation.
No, we didn't.
Well, is there a penalty for not doing this last week?
All right, we'll just move on. The secret word, does anybody else know the secret word? Just tell me what it is. You got it, thank you. Okay, now you are kind of welcome. Visitors and guests. For
And we have Dr. Jenny Davis visiting us. She's our speaker today. And my husband, David Joe, who is also a Rotarian.
Here we go.
And Wayne is sponsoring Greg Alexander, principal of, is it Laguna? There we go.
Great. Okay, well, thank you very much. Anna's here, she's not exactly a guest, she's practically a member. Good to see you again. Sarah. Been trying to rename her all year. Sorry. But Sarah, I did it right this morning. I did one time. Okay, thank you. Okay, time to mute all. And if anyone sees Mark Olson, I haven't seen him for a little while, drop by his drugstore there in Forestville, wish him a happy birthday. And Janine Hale. Where are you? Where's his name? I'm not seeing, oh, there you are, your back's to me. I was looking for you. You have your wife's having a birthday on the 16th. What happened?
She is happy birthday, and she usually doesn't want to have a party. But this time she asked that we have a small dinner. We're not calling it a party. We're only inviting 5 people. So, yeah, something exciting. She's got a new job. She's going to be teaching the 6th grade at the independent charter school. She's been at Sunridge Charter School for 13 years. It's moving over there. It's really fun.
Very good. Well, wish her happy birthday for us. Thank you. And we have a mystery child. Who can guess who this little guy is? Charlie.
Rod McCauley.
Anybody else? Not yet. Haven't got it yet. Yeah, whoever guesses it, I'm going to give them this, my ticket. So wait. You guys can share it with me. David.
What about the blonde hair?
How old are you there, David?
I'm gonna guess 3 or 4.
Wow, I love the picture.
4.
Oh my, that's wonderful. It's a great picture.
That's an Easter picture.
Oh, you were all dressed up for Easter.
That was a pink shirt with a black collar, and I love that shirt. It, anyway. Black hair.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't understand his color. The world was in black and white. I mean, you forgot. We're born in the same year.
I have a lot of black and white too. Thank you, David. That's great. I love the picture. Okay, and there was a first Friday at Moonlight Brewing. And yeah, Kathy, oh, there you are. Kathy. Yeah, you set that one up. That's great. Did you have a good time there? I wasn't able to come.
We went to a Cajun food truck first, and then we went there. We bar hopped. We brew hopped.
Oh, okay, great. It looks like fun. And I have a little something here I want to share with you. Our district conference is coming up on May 4th through the 7th. And I discovered the rooms are going fast, so I managed to get one. But they also have parking out in the lot as far as a place can bring an RV or anything else there you want to sleep in. And I'm sure there's hotels nearby. So anyway, I want to share this with you. I found it on the district website.
Welcome to the beautiful Kanaka Harbor Resort on the shores of Clear Lake in Lake County. At the base of the majestic Mount Kanaka, we, the Rotarians of District 5130, are going to be reopening this gem of Lake County. We are going to be the first to sleep at the base of this magical mountain. We will also be the first to turn the lights back on the stage that has been graced by so many famous singers and musicians for the last 50 years. The resort has been closed for 15 years. We are the ones that are going to be reawakening the magic that is not that hard to discern. We're glad to have you here. We are welcoming you, and we are very much looking forward to rocking the lake for District Conference 2023.
President Diana,
Yes.
I believe that the last time we held a district conference there, they closed it down right afterwards. Let's see if we can do it again.
Thank you, Dave.
Before we have announcements, I would like Bill Sauber to come and tell us just a bit about his harrowing bike ride.
Uh-oh.
First of all, I'll start out with a couple of thoughts for the day. One is you don't slow down because you grow old. You grow old because you slow down. The second one is it's better to wear out than rust out. So
That's it. What happened?
I signed up. I'm a member of an organization called Team Part the Red, White, and Blue. It's an organization of veterans, and their tagline is enriching veterans' lives. I've talked about it before. You all know that the rate of homelessness, mental illness, depression, suicide among veterans is much higher than the average population. And the way they are enriching veterans' lives is by engaging them in physical activities and in community service projects with each other, where they can mingle and talk to each other and they have a good time. So anyway, they have a series of events throughout the year. And this one is called the Old Glory Relay. And they were starting in Seattle, carrying a flag over 50 days, the same flag in actual person to person. Will end up in Atlanta, Georgia on Armed Forces Day, 50 days later, passed into the United States, and it will end at the pictures found of the Atlanta Braves stadium on Armed Forces Day. I signed up. I looked at they have a map that shows the dots of where it starts and stops. So I just picked the one that was closest to me, April 11th. Which started in Westport and ended in Bodega Bay. I could have started in Bodega Bay and gone to San Francisco, which is a much shorter one, but that one already had a dozen or so people signed up. Westport to Bodega Bay was empty, so I signed up for that. And I kept waiting and waiting for a few others to sign up, and nobody did. And it's going to be 123 miles, and it may be better to wear out than rust out. I didn't want to wear myself out in one day. So I went and recruited guys that I get down on the Rotary promoter ride. Bob Rogers and John Cobb. I didn't realize at the time John was an Army veteran. Bob was a Navy veteran. I was an Air Force veteran.
Oh my gosh.
So the three of us relayed the flag down to Bodega Bay. But the final leg was Roy. Harry and Sue's uncle, 90-year-old Korean War veteran, lost a leg, and he carried across the final. He's a Marine. So we had our Air Force Marine. And our ages were 71, 74, 80, and 90. And when I said I didn't know, I signed up and signed up and paid my bill, and then I looked at a couple of donations and the name of had friends in high school. He lost his life in Vietnam. One was Bob Johnson, the other was Jim Griffin. Jim actually died while I was in the country in Vietnam. I didn't know about it until I got home. Get news over there, what's going on. They don't like to tell me who all this guy and why you're still there. But we lost Bob before I got out of high school. He's 17 years old. We could never defend it. It wasn't allowed by military policy to have a 17-year-old in a war. And I went back to reflect on my life. And there's a website called Faces on the Wall, and it has a place where everyone on the Vietnam Wall would go through remembrance. And I read through Bob's, and they had the final battle that he was involved in. And it turned out it was April 11th.
So where do we make those donations? I'll send you, I'll post them, that's okay.
Thank you so much. Oh, another question.
So it's 123 miles total.
123 total.
Seems like a nice natural donation number.
45 minutes early. I was there at 6, Bill. You did 5:50.
I ended up kind of on that part. We got to looking as I was driving north to go up there, we everybody would start. I got to looking at the construction on Highway 1, and I think it was just.
Oh, you skipped that part.
It was just too risky.
Yeah.
So I dropped off. I only did 62. So
62 miles.
52 plus 123. That's even better. That's great.
So next time, Bill, if you need somebody to ride with you, I'll go with you, but you're gonna have to get one of those little trailers. There you go. Yeah. With no pedals somehow.
Oh,
We had winds 30 to 20 to 30 miles an hour. And we had a 3-by-5-foot flag on a flagpole behind us. So it's kind of northwest, but there were times when you're riding and the wind was so strong, the flag was flapping around on you. I couldn't use my rearview mirror, and most of the time I looked out inside. There were several times when I thought the flag was actually going to steal my mirror off the side of my head. And then you turn the corner and go in uphill. It was very tough rides.
wow. Are there any other announcements?
Madam President. They received this from Manly High School and they're looking for a group. That they're looking for adults. For the following, hey, West County folks, Manly students need you to be in the audience. As they present their research project for the AP research class or for the AP capstone program. Manly is the only high school in Sonoma County to offer this distinguished diploma. Can you help? And it is, they're looking for people. If you go on the Manly alumni website, it'll be on there. And they're looking for adults to sit on a panel to judge the students' research project on Tuesday, April 18th from 4 to 6, Thursday, April 20th from 4 to 6, and Tuesday, April 25th from 4 to 6. So if you're interested, go to that Manly alumni website. They'd love to have people on the panel. Probably maybe your wife could do one day.
Yes.
What,
Amelino alums are allowed.
what does AP stand for?
Family placement
Okay, I don't know.
program that students take in high school for advanced classes where they earn college credit. It's possible for a student to get to the point that they can start college, 4-year college as a sophomore with the credit that they've earned.
Thank you. Great. Any more announcements?
We're going to have a Cinco de Mayo party at Mexico Lindo. So,
Oh, okay, on the 5th.
yeah. Right.
Okay, that's also the first day of the district conference.
Well, and then the next day is rebuilding together, so there's a lot.
No, that's been moved.
Oh,
Yeah, because of the district conference. We'll get there. Okay, do we have anyone who's feeling grateful today? Oh,
So we have a big family on my husband's side, and every year we rent a park, and we have the Easter egg hunt, we have Easter bunny. And about 70 members, the oldest 97 and the youngest 3 months. We hit 290 eggs. And all of us found but 2, so I'm grateful that my family was able to get together and my kids came and grandkids, and it was fun, and I'll make a donation to Paul Harris.
wonderful, thank you.
Next week, I'm gonna try to have tomatoes from the high school. So I know the worst there is, yeah, he's been crying about getting his tomatoes. The varieties well, whether it was a mistake or not, I let the kids choose. There's some crazy tomatoes. Oh, it'll be fun. I'm not guaranteed they're edible, but.
Okay.
Oh, cool, very good, yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful. I'll look forward to that. I'm ready for some.
I've got leeks too,
Good.
and those are plants, not.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, well, we have. Oh, I didn't want to miss you.
But I know the handsome man at the other side of the room. Be magnetizing. I want to thank Bill Sutter for his forethought and foresight to ask Roy, our Roy, to be part of the relay yesterday. And Roy's had a rough 2022 where he lost sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and his wife, and he decided to move to Sebastopol, of all places, been with us. Born in Santa Rosa, he's thrilled to be here, but his light shines brightest when he is around other veterans. It doesn't matter what branch, well, especially Marines, but it doesn't matter what branch, he just loves to sit down and talk. And we see these guys literally exchange war stories. It's fascinating, but the brotherhood and sisterhood and personhood is strong. And he slept better last night, thanks to you, Bill, so we appreciate that.
Thank you, Penny. Very good. All right, well, we do have things coming up. The 15th, there's going to be the post office landscape effort we're doing on Saturday. Monday is our board meeting via Zoom, and club members are welcome to attend. On Wednesday, it's the Redwood Empire Food Bank again, that we do once a month, and that's always a great experience. Then we have Apple Blossom Time on the 29th and 30th, and our club, I know, is participating in those events. Then we have on the 1st, the community service Zoom meeting. On the 4th, we start district conference 2023, and I'm hoping some of you will be able to attend that. I'm looking forward to it. It ought to be a lot of fun. And then on May 6th, the rebuilding together was moved to May 6th because of our district conference.
It was moved off, because Apple Blossom. Oh,
Because, excuse me, Apple Blossom. Did I say district conference? I must have been. Yeah, I'm wrong. Again, I knew I threw one thing up. Thank you. Okay, well, next week we have Deborah from Cirrus, and this week I want to get started just a few minutes early because you have a lot of slides, and I know they want to finish on time so that people can ask questions. So we'll get going on this one. And here we go. Let me see if I can make the transfer gracefully.
introduce the introducer. Barbara, come on.
Good job, Joe.
That was great, thank you. So I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm a Rotarian in the Winter Club, and I'm also the environmental chair for the 5130 Environmental Committee. So it's really great to be here. So our special guest speaker today is Ms. Jenny Davey, Dr. Jenny Davey, and she's visiting from Portland, and this is her first visit to Sonoma County, and yesterday morning was her first Rotary meeting. This is her fourth Rotary event that she's been here on Monday. So she's making the rounds, maybe she'll become an honorary Rotarian in the future. Dr. Davey is the Public and Environmental Health Director for Cafeteria Culture. And hopefully you all got the link to the movie Microplastic Madness. Cafeteria Culture is the organization that produced the award-winning student-led film Microplastic Madness, which you'll hear a little bit more about. She's a physician with a master's in public health from UNC Chapel Hill and has her JD in environmental law from Lewis and Clark Law School, which she just got 2 years ago. Amazing. And Jenny researches, writes, and explains the health harms caused by plastic to people across the country. And I had the honor to meet Jenny about a year ago on Zoom when I first heard about this organization through a Rotary Club in out in the coast. Anyway, I can't think right now. But I met Jenny about a year ago and have become a huge fan. So we just met in person when she arrives in San Jose on Monday. So I'm delighted to introduce Jenny to all of you. To be here, and it's a beautiful place, and nice to see for California. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. You've got lovely group of people. And thank you, Barbara. And she did not pitch her own blog, the McChesney's Big Sisters. And I blogged that Barbara and her sister just started to help people find a toehold in this huge plastic problem. Was a really good kind of place to start. I do have a lot of slides, but I'm going to move through them quickly, so we don't rest. I agree with that. Okay. Let's see, I'm not able to advance them. Next sisters. Yeah, we will. So I do have a lot of slides. I'm going to move through them quickly. But the one take-home point, if you don't remember anything else, please remember this. Plastic is a hazardous substance. There's two main reasons. I'm going to set them out with the evidence that we have, the current science. Plastic are harmful when we use them because of the chemical exposures that we get, and they're harmful when we're done using them. We discard them, as many of them are intended to be used one time and discarded, break into particles, which we have now permanently contaminated the environment. We now have in our bodies, and I'll set that out as we go forward. So I was in Missouri via Zoom a couple of weeks ago, and these are pictures of the trash boom collects the plastics that are floating down the river, and they pull them out of the river before they get downstream and break the microplastics. Unfortunately, this is great because I think there should be trash booms everywhere. Most of the plastics actually deeper in the river. And you should see from this close up that these are single-use plastics, often connected with food and drink, used one time and then thrown away, or put in the recycle bin, and we'll quickly discuss that. This is happening here. It's happening all across the globe, across the United States, and the recent floods, some of the bigger plastics got left washed up on the beach. And this is your local surf rider club organizing some beach
pickups. And as again, most of this plastic is already washed out to sea or to the river. Students at Sonoma State University are studying microplastics, which are abundant in the Russian River and everywhere. So plastics are piling up all around the world, and you see these pictures now in the news very frequently. And the reason is because 500 million tons of new plastic is being made here, and the plastic industry would like to double that by 2040. Most of the plastics we use are pictured from the global south, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Africa. These are our plastics. They come from us. We are, the United States is, of course, the world's biggest plastic user and biggest plastic waste producer. And they get to the global south because when we put our plastic in the recycle bin, they're not recycled. Most of the time they are exported to these other countries. And the reason that happens is because there are no sufficient waste management facilities. Nothing can be done with this plastic. Palo Alto investigated where their recyclables went a couple of years ago. If you Google that, you see that come up. They found that almost all of their plastics that people had gathered for recycling had been sent to the global south, where they're just piling them like this, or they're burned openly. Cafeteria culture focuses on schools, and we do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, students are great to work with. They're great ambassadors of environmental messages, and they're entering a world that's vastly different from the world that we grew up in. A school annually serve 7.35 billion meals, and this is what they look like. Really different from when we went to school. It's not uncommon to see 8 to 10 single-use plastics in a single meal. Look on the tray alone, you can see the condiment packet, you can see where the maple syrup was in the plastic container. From the top, even though it's like oil on the outside, it's got a plastic lining on the inside. Utensil or plastic utensils in plastic packaging, using the food boxes, pieces of plastic, and so on. This is a slide I'd like to use from the story of plastic. I hope you get the fact that the faucet here with the water overflowing the bathtubs metaphor for the plastics that are flooding. A person with a spoon is a downstream solution. Some of these downstream solutions that are being proposed are helpful, some are not. Distinguish them. Does the downstream solution get people to recognize the magnitude of the problem, get people to understand that we've got to turn the tap off? Things like the trash bins that are collecting the trash and the beach pickups are great downstream solutions. If you participate in one of those, I guarantee you're going to look at plastic differently, and you're going to recognize that we need trash off. But these things like plastic worms and recycling, compostable plates, those are not helpful solutions when people are molded in complacency. They go, oh, we got the worms, no problem. I'm going to continue using plastics like I always have. We've got to change our relationship with plastic. Screen solution and a beautiful sculpture meant to communicate the same. In order to understand plastic, we've got to answer these 5 questions. So who makes plastic? Anyone got a guess who makes, what industry make plastic? Beverage. Petrochemical, but beverage, yeah, intimately involved. And there's one other big industry that many people don't think about. That's the chemical industry. These are the 2 biggest industries on the planet, most powerful. And the chemical industry is a problem. Chemicals are being created rapidly. And what this graph is meant to illustrate is that the production of plastics is driving the creation of brand new chemicals. So the blue line shows that the synthesis of brand new chemicals has doubled since the year 2000. These are chemicals that never existed before on the earth until they were created in a laboratory. Scientists call them novel entities. The orange line here is the creation of the quantity of those new synthesized chemicals that are incorporated into plastic products. The EU has unveiled a plan to ban whole families of these chemicals. These are chemicals like PFAS. People now starting to hear about them. This is just a drop in the bucket. There's thousands of these chemicals we're going to talk about. So what is plastic? Two main sets of ingredients, fossil fuels and those chemicals. The fossil fuels, as you know, are hydrocarbon molecules. They made into long hydrocarbon polymers, such as this one, ethane being made into polyethylene. That's kind of the basic structure that plastic is built upon. And I would say it's like stringing beads together on a necklace. That's your polymer. They can't make plastic, which is polymer alone. You've got to add all of these chemicals. There are more than 10,000 chemicals that are used to manufacture plastic. If you think I'm making up that number, it sounds a little too weird. 10,000. This came from a 2021 study that blew the socks off of plastic scientists across the globe. We knew there were a lot of chemicals in plastic, and they were going to study. Most of them are unknown. These are proprietary secrets, and so no one is regulating the testing. Why do we have so many chemicals? Because they confer magical properties on our plastic that we've come to expect from our plastic. Here's just a few of those properties. So what's the problem with all those chemicals? They are what we call persistent organic pollutants, toxic, persistent chemicals, and they're heavy metals. Persistent organic pollutants are simply chemicals that have at least one carbon atom that persist in our environment. I like people to think of them as oily chemicals. So they don't break down in the environment because water and oil don't mix. The same thing happens in our body. We can't eliminate them. Our elimination processes are water-based, our pee and our poop are water-based. So these chemicals stick in our bodies and we can't clear them out. So over the course of a lifetime, these chemicals start to accumulate. In people as well as all organisms. And then we store them in our fatty tissues. And they don't just sit there dormant, they start to interfere with our cell function bodies. So what's a heavy metal? Y'all are likely more familiar with that. Here's the common heavy metals you've likely heard about: lead, mercury, chromium, antimony's in those plastic water. And they're neurotoxins. Those heavy metals are used to soften plastic, they're used to add color, and they're used to catalyze all these other chemical reactions that are needed to make plastic. So here we have two sets of ingredients. They are both persistent organic pollutants, and the chemicals include the heavy metals as well. So what happens when our food and our water come in contact with this plastic? And we do all the time. We've gotten very accustomed to eating and drinking food out of plastic containers or off of plastic foodware. Scientists set out to answer this question with the water bottle study. They use these squeezable, reusable, very popular sports water bottles that all kids are using now. They took two new of these little water bottles, who used the brand A, who used the brand B, and they had a control group, and they filled them with ordinary tap water at room temperature, and let the water sit in the bottles for 24 hours. Then they tested the water inside the bottles, and they found that over 400 plastic chemicals had moved from the plastic into the water. Because these are reusable water bottles, you take what we did at home, they then put them to the dishwasher. Right? They hired an back there. So they put them in the dishwasher, they took them out after the cycle, rinsed them, and repeated this same experiment, tap water, room temperature, 24 hours. This time they found 3,500 plastic chemicals. And you know they had those control that were glass bottles, so they knew that the chemicals in the plastic had come from the plastic. They weren't in the tap water. So we learned from this experiment is that these kind of plastic chemicals are mobile and they move quickly. 24 hours is not a long time. It's in the plastic. You go to the grocery store, and you see the stuff sitting in plastic for days, weeks, and in these distribution centers, especially with water bottles. How long is that water been sitting in the bottles? We see from this study that plastic chemicals move from new plastics, they move from old plastic, they move at room temperature. You know, I was always taught, oh, when you heat it, you're good. That's not true. If they had heated this water, they would have found even more chemicals. But at room temperature, we get hundreds and thousands of chemicals. And they move it into neutral, pH neutral zones, water. And then finally, we learned that these chemicals leak from plastic faster when the plastic has been weathered. And this weather when it's put into the dishwater, heated, and that agitation from the water. So plastic chemicals are mobile. How does this harm us? The plastic industry said, don't worry, it's all inert, which means harmless, non-reactive. So we already know from some of the chemicals we've known since the 1980s and 90s. These are just a few of the chemicals we actually know about. I'm sure you've heard of them. Bisphenols, phthalates, plastic coatings are the PFAS chemicals we're now starting to hear about. Flame retardants, which we need because they're made out of fossil fuels, and our plastics would spontaneously combust if we didn't have flame retardants in them, and the heavy metals, as I mentioned. These are just some of the health harms we've heard about. Endocrine disruptors. That's the type of persistent organic pollutant that these chemicals are. PFAS is making a big splash right now. EPA just came out and said there are good state levels. That's going to regulate PFAS in the water. State of California already does that, but nobody is regulating the PFAS in all of this packaging. The PFAS is that slippery lining. If you've got a coffee cup and you've got liquid in it, paper coffee cup, I was telling kids, hey, does paper hold water? Why would you think that paper would hold water? Well, it's lined with that plastic coating, and that is. These are just some of the diseases that have now been connected with these chemicals. So that's how it harms us. The other way that it harms us is from the particles. We discard our plastic, it doesn't biodegrade, but it breaks down into these tiny particles. Initially, you'll get microplastic that's 5 millimeters. That's the size of an eraser on the end of the pencil that you continue to break down in the environment. Now we're talking about nanoplastics. These are microscopic, 1/8 the size of a red blood cell, and of course, we just continue to break tinier and tinier pieces. Think about what this means. These particles have spread all over the globe to our body. We find micro nanoplastics now. There's a whole range of breakage from micro to nanoplastics in the water, in all water, tap water, bottled water, you name it. The types of plastics that we're finding, microfibers that come from our synthetic clothing, the PET, those are the water bottles, and other plastic. Recent study from New Zealand, they attempted to measure, get an idea of how many micro nanoplastics are in the air. Of course, they're small, they're going to blow around the globe. Found that ground sources were keeping up micro nanoplastics. Sea spray, micro nanoplastics in the air. And this study found about the equivalent of 3 million plastic bottles lands on New Zealand each year, deposited from the air. And same types of plastics that we're seeing all over the globe and other places. And then finally, this is the one that always freaks me out, is the micro nanoplastics in our soil. Where do they come from? They drop out of the air. We have these plastic sheet mulches that break up and into micro nanoplastics shed in space. We have these chemicals, little green pellets they find in the soil when you buy something from the nursery or for indoor plants or outdoor plants. Those supposedly slow utilizing the green plastic. They get directly in the soil, comes to sewage sludge and contaminated compost. It is killing that made from our food web. I know, that's right. I want to keep that press really look at very start.
Talk a lot about plastic, but I'm still depressed.
Where to start? Same thing happening. We're drinking, eating and drinking, so that means we're getting all these chemicals too. And these are the places, every place that we've tested our modern families. They're in our lungs, from breathing in, our digestive tract, liver's part of that. Even in neonates first food. I'm glad. And what happens, they cause mechanical damage by puncturing the cell, because of the start. And they get into the cell and do the inflammatory process, and then they release chemicals and poison us from the inside out. And I'm just briefly gonna fly through this. This is a study, scientists determined all the plastics that are made weirdly and about. And as you can see from this, only 9% of the plastic has ever been recycled. Most of them end up in the landfill or the environment, and nobody knows like what fraction of those plastics are in landfill, what fraction are in return. But no matter where it ends up, it's going to turn into microplastics or finding in the wrong shape. Gonna go through the recycling, it's what we're probably getting out of time. Count on the state of California, you know, that these recycling centers were created by the plastic industry in the 1970s. And the state of California is suing ExxonMobil, we've done the lawsuit with ExxonMobil for deceptive advertising because of those symbols. There's new evidence, they've got all kinds of documentation now that this was actively discussed among plastic industry executives. They knew that plastic was not recycling, or looking for a way to sell their product. So we do. We talk about these downstream solutions, we want helpful ones that recognize maybe the problem, not solutions that all components and fixes. If everything's okay, we want to turn off the tap. Where do we start? So this is a 3-tiered framework that was used to phase out CFCs in the 1980s and 90s, where the fluorocarbons are used in our refrigerants. They were increasing the ozone holes over both poles. There's an international treaty that was developed at the time, and this 3-tiered network folks started focusing first on identifying the non-essential products. It would be the same with the plastic place to start, name your own head, and ask, what do I know? And begin there. It's usually the foodware. And because of this chemical transfers from the foodware and the packaging that comes in contact with food, this is the place I suggest people start. The second place that we look is what plastic do we need are important in our lives, but which ones do we have substitutes for? So second. Then we have the essential plastic. That's where scientists need to be working for alternatives. This is a simple example. You go to the grocery store and here's what your decision, a simple decision that you're faced with. And if you have the means, I have the knowledge about what plastic really is. I hope you will choose the glass bottle. Some because the plastic is cheaper. The fossil fuel industry is heavily subsidized. That's why it's cheaper. Some people don't have the means to make this decision. But you do strongly recommend that you buy the glass. And start thinking about it. And most of all, we need to change the way we eat. You know, we all grew up, most of us here grew up in a society where we ate off of real plates with real utensils. And I think our kids deserve the same. Unfortunately, a lot of these schools don't have kitchens, they don't have dishwashers. If you have a local school, number one, that would like to show this film, please contact me. Barbara can get a hold of me. I'm Jenny at chickenny@microplasticfamilies.org, and we can help. We sponsor these national plastic-free lunch days, just a place to start. Some schools have to start little, they just want to get rid of plastic straw on one day. And the kids lead these actions. They show the movie in their school and then organize getting rid of plastics, for example, for one day. We have some schools in California is the leader throughout the nation. Some schools are ready to switch to reusable, and that's happening. California is at the front of that. We can help situations and then advocate using this non-essential framework, spread the word. You know, let you, especially for kids and the grandkids. That's what I'm really concerned about. They're getting these toxic chemical exposure. They're going to increase throughout their lives. We got to start the plastics out of it, especially in school. That's exactly what Barbara McChesney is doing. She's trying to help people find a way to start easy things that you can do in your life. Get these non-essential and substitutable plastics out of your life. And your children's life and your grandchildren's life. So that's it. Please, I hope you take home with you that plastic is a hazardous substance, and then when you look at plastic, that you start to see it differently and begin to get some of the easy plastics out of it. want to make sure, if we sent out the link.
We sent out the link to your club, and I'm hoping everybody got it. There was a link that Jenny provided for you to be able to watch the movie Microplastic Madness, and it's a wonderful, if you haven't seen it yet, it's a wonderful uplifting film about a group of fifth graders in New York City. And if you didn't get the link, then let me know and we'll make sure you have it, because it'll be open for just a short period of time, and it's well worth it.
Guarantee you that after you see this movie, you'll be uplifted, encouraged, and inspired, and the kids, it's a kid-led action, these kids studied plastic for 2 years. They had 2 years to design a solution. They came up with the very first plastic-free lunch day that's now international, and we have more and more schools joining every year. So it's great, and then, kids teach their parents, kids teach other kids, and this generation, as I said, they're entering a world that looks vastly different from what we saw when you're their age. They need the tools, they need to know how to problem solve.
Jerry has a question.
I'm just a question about all of a sudden, all the grocery stores are selling lettuce in this horribly plastic bins. Is there any effort to get them to stop that?
So the plastic industry, if you haven't figured out this, like it's extremely aggressive. So this industry took advantage of COVID. For example, there is no scientific reason why food needs to be wrapped in plastic. That does nothing to stop a COVID transmission to COVID virus. It's an aerosol virus. So why maybe if I have proper seeds on my hand, I touch a lettuce in the grocery store, or you can buy that lettuce, and then you touch that lettuce with your hand and rub it. Maybe you'll get COVID that way, right? But you can see that there's plastic barriers, so that's what happened. The industry came in, we gotta stop COVID, your food, your food, your everything safer and more sanitary when you got plastic, right? And people fell for that. So now, if there's gonna be pushback, it's not gonna be from the grocery store because they think that's what customers want. And the plastic industry. Okay. So it's up to us to push back. And you can go and say, hey, no, not okay. You guys stop using plastic, and the more people they hear that.
Does anyone here, you included, know whether or not our plastic recycling here in Sonoma County is being exported or actually processed?
I'll get to this really fast. Thank you so much for asking me.
Process, is it pretty kind?
So plastic is not recyclable, full stop. And I'll tell you why. When you put, for 2 reasons, you may guess after my slides here. When you put plastic through the first production cycle, it's melted down and squeezed into a mold, or it's what they call extruded right into a thin sheet before it's used. During that process, the high heat and the compression damages the polymer. So when someone says something's recycled, ask what they mean by that. So when you're thinking your plastic water bottle is recycled, you think it's going to be melted down and made into another water bottle, right? Like we do with paper and metal and glass. Well, you can't do that because the polymer's been damaged. So if you try to put it back through the cycle, there's only 2 things you can do. One is you can what they call downcycle, and only some plastics can be downcycled, like PET plastic from the water bottle can be made to an inferior product with a plastic bag. One time, then it goes to the landfill. That's all you can do. Second thing is your post-consumer content products. That's like when we use Play-Doh, when we were kids, with the Play-Doh got to a point where it was unplayable, couldn't do anything with it. If you take a little bit of the old Play-Doh, mix it with a bunch of the new Play-Doh, suddenly you can make something from it. So but you can only put so much of the old Play-Doh. That's your post-consumer content product, probably 10 to 20% max, and I've only seen 14% through it. So like those decks, okay, that's post-consumer. Thank you so much. I have, and that was a fantastic presentation. I'm so thrilled. Can you stay after a little bit if anybody has more questions? That was terrific. Thank you so much.
Okay, we need to have a drawing here. Yeah.
Dan Needham's ticket.
Like, point out that we're repurposing that last goal and I'm second.
Yeah, very good.
Drop it. 5-finger discount.
Have his tag in there.
And the winning ticket, and I have no idea how much money is it. Is it because Jerry will tell me. Is 214-088.
I got it.
If you're a winner, you're a winner.
Gotta go get the marbles. But maybe this is a winning ticket.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Brian, do you have a joke for us?
Okay, so. Okay, real quick thought. We didn't have time to talk about advanced chemical recycling. No, we didn't. And we won't. Because that's why we won't talk afterwards. You can have it prepared, but it's really funny. We're talking about old people. Keeping active. It's a bike race that happens right here, and it's called Twilight Series Criterion. It's really fast. Guys are going 30 miles an hour in the loop, and I was in there just a few years ago, and we were hauling. Well, on the last lap, some guy crosses right in front of me. We all go down like 30 miles an hour. I go flying over me, some guy off to the side, he's screaming, "Oh my gosh, I'm too old for this shit." And I go, "Yeah, this is the stuff that makes you say that, and you need to keep doing it." He goes, "Yeah, you're right." He gets up and he rises.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, Linton, how about leading us off in our song?